Well, congratulations, first of all, on the Save Rock and Roll album. It debuted #1 on the Billboard charts. And after a 4-year break, how was it like coming back together?
It's great. I think we needed the time off, but it allowed us to become better human beings and better at working with each other. So
the good stuff got great, and the awkward stuff got more awkward. In the best possible way. I feel like we all became fully men. You know, I think that when we started the band, we were younger and we were just trying to figure that out. And now I think we all are well set. And like, I think that we all respect each other, but I think we're all well set in how awkward we are as a band. We're just like awkward dudes.
no, I don't think there was any fistfights. I think that's something everyone else really wanted as well. I think that's kind of part of the reason that I personally wanted to take a break back in 2009 was to go write music with other bands, other people, so I could bring those experiences back to Fall Out Boy. And once I think everyone saw what I was doing, they wanted that more out of me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it was kind of, there weren't a lot of fistfights. It was kind of, it's funny, I kind of put myself in a tough position because at once I intellectually was like, we really need to do this, you know, Joe should really be more involved, you know, I know that that's something he wants and whatever. At the same time, I had a really comfortable spot where I always wrote all the music and it was very fun and I got to kind of do what I wanted. And so I had to I volunteered to give that up, which felt kind of weird in the studio at times where I'd be like, wow, you know, I would love to give my input here, but I know that my plan was to be, you know, to allow for a lot more space. So I think that might be the most adult thing.
I think that there was, you know, I was talking about whether you can be punk and have a kid or be punk and be married and be, you know, an adult. And you can be. I mean, there's nothing sadder than seeing the Fonz hanging out by himself when he's like 75 years old in a leather jacket. You know, like you can like grow up and take hold and still be an artist and weigh out your responsibilities. And in some ways, it adds new ideas. Like I think my brain is open to a whole different path of thinking from chasing a 4-year-old around. I mean, like it's divergent thought. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
and 4-year-olds are pretty punk rock. They are.
It's very super punk rock. Basically,
they thrash
circle pit all the time. But I think that for me, when I was driving to preschool a bunch when we had time off, and I was listening to music on the radio, and I was like, I just feel like there needs to be a band that's on the radio that can be there for like the anti-hero. You know what I'm saying? And it, at that moment, I didn't feel like I heard it.
You know, that's a good point too. Is that when we write the songs, we're not thinking about anything. We're just writing. After we have the songs, and we write lots and lots of songs, then there's kind of a selective, you know, then there's the kind of thought where you go, okay, well, this song next to this song next to this song makes a different statement than, you know, than this other set. And so that's where you kind of go, well, you know, I guess we did look at this at the set of songs that we had, and we're like, well, you know, there's not a lot on radio that sounds like this, but it sounds like it could be on the radio. And there's something unique about that, and something that I think is necessary about that, and kind of the same way that Pete was talking about Green Day. You know, the fact that like you had these bands, you know, on, you know, in pop radio, which pop is usually like a 4-letter word, like, oh, you know, no one wants to be pop, but you had these bands that were inspiring people to be not so in a box, and so I guess we kind of look, you know, you aspire to that, I guess.
I think when we were writing the song, or when I heard what these guys had done, it seemed like it was going to be really important, and Patrick had picked out like lyrics that seemed like they married with what we were doing, and I think that more than anything, there was a lot of people talking about like, will there be a reunion tour, or like, you know, like, I don't know, like just all kinds of like kind of like goofy stuff, and no one really like expected a full album, you know, right away finished or whatever. And so it was always about new music, you know, and the idea of doing the next thing, you know, the version 2.0 of Fall Out Boy.
I think it's definitely, I think it should be the job of bands who are trying to constantly make music and progress to challenge their fans to listen to what they're making, to listen to like kind of the new art that they're trying to make, I guess. And I think based off of kind of what we've been saying, we're trying to challenge the idea of what rock and roll is as an idea, not as like a specific kind of music and a specific kind of style. So there's some things I guess we're trying to challenge people on a little bit.
I mean, I think too, a big thing for where a lot of the music starts, because I would always say that even though, you know, in the eras where I was writing the majority of the music, or even this record where, you know, I still have a pretty big role in putting everything together, I guess. I'd say that the music always comes from the lyrics to me. Like it's always something that I find in the lyrics, and
Which is essentially me laying on a couch and Patrick being like, I'm not that kind of doctor.
crazy. But you know, I'm always finding a lot of the music there, and I feel like you know, then you have the set of songs, and you look at them and you go, well, what is this? You know, how are people going to react to this? And the reality is, you can't ever really worry about how people are going to react to it, because you know, you are your art. You are who you are, and that's just it. And the more you kind of mold it to in any direction, imagining, you know, what people, you know, oh well, they'll really like this, that you're more likely than not to not have that work in your favor. So I guess you kind of just have to you know, do your thing and not worry about it. And I guess that's kind of what we do, you know. And so I wouldn't. So I guess the sophistication thing, or any of the sonic differences, I would say, just exist, and you know, and I don't think we worried at all about who was going to.
I mean, we made this album in secret, so we made an album entirely for ourselves. And if it was going to be really bad, we were just going to throw it away.